Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Kuntres Maimer Yud Gimel. Any off the parak over here. Oh, Miss Hashem. Page 197. We start giving tzedakah. Gedil tzedakah. Shemekar Eretz Yisroel. We're giving some tzedakah. We're going to bring Mashiach closer. And tzedakah, where everyone is, they can give. Not just I have to do. I do it. Everyone can do it. And also this whole series, of course, is in honor of all the Yidden in Eretz Yisroel and for the safety and security of the Yidden and the soldiers, Yosef Yitzchak ben Simcha, and for the hostages that are unfortunately still in captivity, or the ones that came back, still need the davening. That enough of this gullus, enough of this sheker. We're going to focus on Eden ben Kochva. The mitzvah Hashem, Eden ben Kochva should be safe and healthy and good and all achte v'chesed. Okay, so we're discussing this whole issue about the Nefesh Bahamis and the Nefesh Elokis. That really, the Nefesh Bahamis has been within us for a good 12 plus years. And only then did the Nefesh Elokis come in. And even though the Nefesh Elokis comes in straight away by the conception, but it doesn't have any say, mimshala, shlita, doesn't have any real impact on us. So therefore, we for the first 12 plus years of our lives, we are being controlled, trained, taught by the Nefesh Bahamis, and then only after by the Bas Mitzvah, then we start to have the Nefesh Elokis come in, and then he starts trying to make his opinion, and this is so it doesn't really work so well. And we're going to continue discussing this, and this is like we said before. I guess we can't repeat it enough. That what we realize when we learn this is that when we do a mitzvah, it's like a big deal. It's like, wow, we did it. You did the mitzvah. Unlike a lot of the time what we think to ourselves is that, finally you did the right thing. You see, the way it's set up, it's a big chiddush. And this is the question of Rashab. How is it possible that we ever listened to Nefesh Elokis? Let's see. Because I never about Elokis Adayin Tem his achza. Boy, Beis Yashvus, the Nefesh Elokis before it even has a chance to really settle itself into us. Imkein Arei Nefesh Bahamis Su Chazak Harbe Yosef Nefesh Elokis. So if so, that the Nefesh Bahamis is much stronger than Nefesh Elokis. And therefore, just like we said before, the Teva, Nasa Hagel, you do things enough times it becomes nature. If you do something, all the professionals will tell you, I think it's 7 weeks or something of doing something constantly, it will become second nature to you. This is 12 plus years. 12 plus years of doing something one way. It's going to be very difficult to change it. So, HaNefesh HaBahamis Nikar Melech Zaken, and this is why the Nefesh HaBahamis is called an old king. Like we said before, we said better to be a young, poor, wise person than an old, foolish king. And now we understand why is the Nefesh HaBahamis called an old king, because it's been around for 12 plus years. Besides the fact that, like we said before, when you have a judgment, you need to have both people coming at the same time. If one person comes before, then it's a very compelling argument because there's no one to dispel it. So besides that fact that the Nefesh HaBahamis has been around for so long, and he rules over all parts of you, he made us become. He's old, and he made us become accustomed. And he figured out how to talk to us. He's been talking to us for 12 years. Well, and to remove us, to be drawn after the physicality and the costness. For 12 years, we're telling ourselves this is the best thing for us when it really isn't. Eating the 7-layer cake is the best thing for us when it really isn't. It's going to be very hard to change that. Yeah, right. Now, in contrast, a Nefesh Elokis. Hine levad shehi yeled lefi erech k'dimasi. Shal Nefesh Bahamis besides the fact that it's already considered like a child because it's 12 plus years later, it's also very poor, very sad, very nebachi in comparison to in regards to the person. Why? Because Shaharei Kol Inyan Noi Hu Inyan Aruchnius. Because the whole thing of the Nefesh Elokis is spirituality. The Adam Shenimshach Achrei Gashmus V'Hu Gal B'Inyan Eilam Achumius. In contrast to the person that is trying to affect, has been living their lives 12 plus years with physicality, and it's really we've really ingrained within ourselves the desire for physicality. So near loy kalin ruchni lemiskinus. So then to talk about spirituality, what are you talking about? I have no connection. It reminds me when I was in the Bacha, I was on Miftzayim in the Shuk in Eretz Yisroel, and I asked one time a guy, put on tefillin, and he goes to me, like very Israeli. So he goes, "What you're asking me is like saying to me, go walk up to the roof of that building." Like, what? Why do I care? Walk up to the roof of the building? I mean, it's so irrelevant to me. Mr. Shem now he's frum and he's putting on tefillin every day. I really didn't have a good answer for him. Now I might have a better answer, but back then I sure didn't have a good answer. And basically, he was telling me, he's like I'm so not connected to this, and like he wasn't saying, this was sort of the sadness about it. I wasn't saying I'm against this. He's like, it's so irrelevant to me, and this is sort of what's happening. And Nefesh Elokis comes and says, "Hey, let's do a mitzvah." It's so irrelevant to me. I'm so like, why would I what do I care about a mitzvah? I want to eat some more food. I want to go play another game. You know, I want to do all these Nefesh Bahamas type things. Like to go do a mitzvah now, to be kind to someone, no connection. So it's like a nebach. It's like, what's this guy talking about? Like, who's this guy? Where did this guy come from? You know, it's like this random person walks into the parade and starts talking like, where's this guy come from? That's a nefesh elokis in our world when we're becoming bar bas mitzvah. Now, of course, it's not so. I'm making it sound very simple and very obvious, and of course, not so simple and obvious. But in deep down, that's how it is. This is what's really going on within inside of us. Because the ikar by a person is the physicality, and that's what's rich and that's what's important. What meaning by the person? What's important is wealth, is chshivus. It's all physical things. And therefore, the nefesh bahamis is much more stronger within the person than nefesh elokis. So therefore, it's very wondrous, even more so than before, based off this extra added information. How is it possible that the nefesh elokis has the power, this gaber ala nefesh bahamis, to overcome nefesh bahamis? And then, like we said before, and therefore, being that this is sort of the reality, and this is the thing about the question. The question is, how are we able to do mitzvahs? It doesn't make any sense. Seemingly, we can't do mitzvahs. It's like it's against nature to do a mitzvah. That's what we're saying, essentially. And then, so therefore, when we do a mitzvah, we should celebrate it and manage to overcome the old and foolish king that's been around for 12 more years than me. If someone's been telling you something for 12 years and then someone else comes and tries to change you, it's going to be very difficult. And so this is how we live our lives. And even more so, if we became frum later, so for sure that nefesh elokis hasn't been saying much. So every time we do a mitzvah, it's a celebration of this beautiful chiddush. So now we're going to discuss something very interesting. It's brought down in Chassidus a few places. What's the source of nefesh bahamis and the source of nefesh elokis? And essentially, we'll explain there's two sources. There's the lower source and the higher source. Let's see. And the lower source, of course, the nefesh bahamis is higher, but in the Shiur Shashim, in the true source, nefesh elokis is higher. Typical Chassidus. Let's see. The Chmai came mitzad Sharshan, so too in regards to their source. Hare Yadua, it's known the Shiur Nefesh bahamis. He's from the world of Toyu. V'sherish nefesh elikis, and this also the nefesh elikis is me'olam hatikun. Comes from the world of Tikkun. There's a world in simple, the world of Toyu is a world of chaos. It was a world with a lot of light. These are very high spiritual levels. Now in Toyu, it's not a bad world, Chas v'shalom. It's all spirituality, very high. But what happened was it was a world full of a lot of light of Chesed, a lot of light of Gevurah, a lot of light of Tiferes, and all these levels had a lot of light, but there wasn't a vessel to be able to receive it, and they couldn't really join along together. So they had a shvira. It's called shviras akalim, because the vessel they had were too not strong enough to be able to hold it. It's like trying to take a cup and putting it into Niagara Falls and trying to get a drink. It's going to destroy the cup. It's too much, and this is what it was. And the shviras akalim caused all these sparks to come down to this world, and that's the refinement of what we do. And they say, by Yetzias Mitzrayim, 200 and something out of 288 sparks have already been refined. So there's only the last thousands of years, since it's just 3,000 plus years since Yetzias Mitzrayim, we've been working on trying to fix up these last few. But really, I think it's already done, as the Rebbe would say. Anyway, but that's what Toyu is. So it's a very high level with a lot of strong, powerful light, but not a lot of kelim. It's like in a room full of teachers. There's that one teacher, there's not enough students. You need this balance. And then, whereas in Tikkun, which is a lower level, it's the exact opposite. Sort of to contrast the Toyu was a world, not a lot of light, but a lot of vessels. So a lot of students able to receive. And so the one or two teachers that teach, they have a big crowd to help to receive it. Yeah. So the nefesh Bahamis comes from Toyu, and that's also why it works with Toyu. Toyu is because the lights couldn't really connect to each other, which is nefesh Bahamis, and that's why the famous is Hayom Yom, that when two Yidden come together to deal with the problem, it's two nefesh Bahamis versus one nefesh Elikis. Now, seemingly, there's two Yidden, so they have two nefesh Bahamis and two nefesh Elikis. So why do we say there's two nefesh Bahamis and one nefesh Elikis? Because the nefesh Elikis is bittul, so they come together. So it's two people trying to deal with the same issue without ego. So it's really one nefesh Bahamis, one nefesh Elikis. Whereas the nefesh Bahamis, they're like in Toyu, there's too much light, but they're two separate and they can't join together. So that's where the nefesh Bahamis comes from. Yeah, let's see. Who me'el matoyu? V'sharj nefesh Elikis, who me'el matikun? Which nefesh Elikis comes from Tikkun. V'toyu kadam el Tikkun, and Toyu comes before Tikkun. So therefore, we're showing that the nefesh Bahamis is really coming from a higher level than the nefesh Elikis, which is even more wondrous. What's going on over here? Because if the nefesh Bahamis came before the nefesh Elikis into us, and the nefesh Bahamis is on a higher level than the nefesh Elikis, so how is it possible that we ever listen to nefesh Elikis? It says is no hope, no chance. Question goes like it says in Bereshis, these are the kings that ruled in Edom. Livnei melach bnei Yisrael, before the Jewish people ruled. So this is sort of reference to the nefesh Bahamis that comes of the nefesh Elikis that had ruled before. These are the 7 kings that came before Toyu. That came before in Toyu. The Kadman el Tikkun, and they came before Tikkun. And therefore, like we're seeing here, even more, the question is, how does the nefesh Elikis ever have a chance? The nefesh Bahamis is there for longer. The nefesh Bahamis trains us into caring about Gashmis. And the nefesh Bahamis comes from a higher source. The nefesh Elikis comes later. The nefesh Elikis is trying to teach us about something which is foreign to us, and is not on such a high level. So how does it have the ability to overcome this? And the answer to this question, we have to join tomorrow. Tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem will finish off this parak and this maimer. Everyone should have an amazing day.